Hello and welcome back, Squirrel Nation. Today I am going to do a scouting guide for all of you. And if you're wondering why am I doing a scouting guide, the reason is because I'm frequently asked about countering and positioning against enemy teams to win more games. But the thing is that scouting is actually the foundational skill that both countering and positioning against the enemy team are based on. So I felt like I had to do a scouting guide before I can do a good positioning and a good counter guide. So anyways, that is what we are going to cover today. I hope you all enjoy, and let's dive in. When scouting your opponent, there are three things you should be paying attention to. One, what are their main damage sources and where are those damage sources located? The questions you should be asking yourself are there a way for me to counter their damage? So in this case, he has a Berserker who is definitely his main damage, and he has a 3-star Lone Druid who is going to be another main source of damage. So then my question is there a way for me to shut down the Lone Druid? Is there a way for me to shut down the Berserker? Okay, on to the second component. The second thing you should be scouting for is key crowd control abilities, okay? So what I mean by that is, in this case, he has the Pirate Captain who has a big ultimate that will AoE, stun everything, and then he also has human synergy to silence heroes. So the reason that matters is if I'm positioning, I want to make sure that I'm not positioning my key ultimate abilities on top of his human synergies, okay? The other thing is how I want to spread out my team. Is there a way for me to make it so that his Pirate Captain gets less value out of their ultimate? And finally, the third component is key ultimates. So in this case, key ultimates on this person's team are the Pirate Captain and the Lone Druid, okay? So Lone Druid wants to get out of his Panda Bear, Pirate Captain wants to get out his ship. Is there a way that I can shut that down? That's what I'm asking myself. So if I have a human synergy, I want to line them up against the Lone Druid, I want to line them up against the Pirate Captain. If I have a Taboo Witcher, same thing. I want to line that up against one of those heroes so that I can shut down their ultimate. So now let's use the Pirate Captain and Lone Druid as an example. If I have a Taboo Witcher, should I put it on the Lone Druid or should I put it on the Pirate Captain? Well, in this case, the Lone Druid is 3-star and it is more damage. And later we're going to look at the DPS meter and you're going to see the Lone Druid has very, very high damage. So in that case, I would want to place it onto the Lone Druid. Okay, so that's kind of a basic overview. Now let's actually talk about what we're seeing right here. So in this enemy team, what I'm taking away from this is their silences in the 2 and 3 spot, okay? So I'm saying from the right side of the board, 2 is Pirate Captain, 3 is Werewolf, okay? So I know that I should not align my key ultimate heroes with the 2 or 3 spot against this hero. And then I'm asking myself, can I shut down the Lone Druid? So the Lone Druid's at 4, so I want my humans, because I'm also running a Pirate Captain and a Werewolf, I want my human synergy to line up with the Lone Druid, so I want them on the 4 spot, okay? And then is there a way for me to get on his Berserker? And at this point in the game, the answer is no. Now on to the final remaining opponent. It is a 6-hunter team. So once again, let's go through our 3 criteria. First, main damage dealers. I would say Dwarf Sniper, Wind Ranger, and the Devastator. Okay, those are probably the largest damage sources on the enemy team. Anybody asking, how do I know what the main damage sources are? You can look at the DPS meter, which I will discuss that later in the video. And over time, you just learn what heroes are the damage carries and not. So it comes with experience to do it quickly. But for those of you just learning, just make sure you get in the habit of looking at the DPS meters when the fights are happening. Anyways, so number one is there a way for me to kill the Dwarf Sniper, kill the Wind Ranger, kill the Devastator quickly? Or in the Devastator's case, can I shut down his ultimate? Those are the things I should be focusing on. Okay, the second criteria we talked about are key CC crowd control type stuff. If you look at the enemy team, he basically has a Siren and he has a Tsunami Stalker for his CC. That's all he has. So then is there a way for me to shut them down? The Tsunami Stalker is fronted, so I could put a silence on top of him. The Siren will be a lot harder to get to, so there's really no way with my team comp that I can get to the Siren. Okay, third thing, key ultimates. Who are the key ultimates? Devastator, 100%. Out of this team, I would say Devastator is a key ultimate, Siren is a key ultimate, Wind Ranger, because all of them bring, well, 2 of them, Devastator and Wind Ranger, bring huge damage from their ultimates, and Siren brings that huge CC to the team with her ultimate. So is there a way for me to shut them down? In this case, I notice that the 3 and 4 spot are both key ultimates that I would like to shut down, right? So I have human synergy. I would like to line my humans up with the 3 and 4 spot. Now here becomes the problem. If you remember from the prior screen, the other enemy, the 6 warrior, he has his lone druid positioned 4 spot from the right side. Okay, and his pirate captain, I believe, was 2 spot from the right side, and now this enemy is on the opposite side of the board. They're on the left side of the board. So I have to choose to set up either against the 6 warrior, or I have to choose to set up against the 6 hunter. In theory, the way that you should do that is you should ask yourself, which one of them beats me? Okay, so in my case, I'm running a 3 hunter team. It's more likely that a 6 warrior is going to counter me than a 6 hunter team. So then, is there a way that I can set up to beat the warrior team is what I ask myself, or is there a way that I can set up to minimize the damage from the warrior? That to me is how you should be conceptualizing it. Okay, so after scouting, let's discuss implementing what you learned from your scout. So it's kind of the same 3 steps. One is, who are my damage carries and how can I keep them safe? So in this case, my dwarf snipe, my hunters, right? And main one is dwarf sniper. So how do I keep them safe? I'm going to spread them out. Why am I spreading them? Because I know the enemy team, their main damage sources were a berserker. He can't get to my marksman. The other main damage source was a lone druid. He's frontlined. He can't get to my marksman. And then on the opposite team, the 600 team, he has a devastator. Okay, well, I want to avoid his ultimate hitting all 3 of my hunters. So how do I do that? I spread them out. None of the teams have anything that can jump onto my hunters, so I'm fine spreading them out. I don't need to have, like I can have them the way I have them, same with the Wind Ranger, because the way they're positioned on the board. The other thing is Tsunami Stalker. The enemy has a Tsunami Stalker. Same thing. I don't want all of my damage to get CC'd at once, and same thing with the Siren. So that's why I'm spreading out my damage. Then we're looking at key ultimates. I don't want my Lone Druid to get silenced. I don't want my Pirate Captain to get silenced, and same thing. My Venomancer and Tsunami, secondary. But Tsunami Stalker, I actually have a Flash Dagger on, so I've positioned him here because he will jump right on both teams. They have their damage carries in the back line where you would expect them to be, so the Tsunami Stalker is going to flash in and then CC the whole enemy team. That's why I place him there. Okay, now on to the flaws. There's one big flaw in my formation is that I do have the human synergy, but I did not place them on the Devastator or the Tsunami Stalker. Okay, against the 6 warrior team, I did place the werewolf where the Lone Druid will be, so that is one misplay. And then you ask yourself, well, Squirrel, why didn't you do that? I mean, you knew where they were, right? And yeah, I mean, that is correct, but here becomes, to me, the true skill of an auto chess player is their ability to do all the many mental tasks they need to do in a very short period of time. Okay, so at the higher levels, you're re-rolling, you're setting up your team synergies, you're scouting the enemy team, and then you're positioning your pieces to capitalize on the enemy's position. Okay, all of that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot to do in a very short window. So to me, the better and better a player is, the more they're able to do in a short window of time, the better decisions they're able to make, right? And you all see me, I do make mistakes. All players make mistakes, and that's the importance of reviewing your gameplay. Anyways, with that said, let's dive in and see how this round plays out. Okay, so now let's see how this plays out against the 6 Hunter. So I get all key ultimates off. My Dwarf Sniper does not get killed by the Devastator, but my other 2 Hunters do. So, I mean, our theory kind of is applying, but we still lose. The other key thing here is we lose to both players. So we lose to the Hunter and we lose to the Warrior, so obviously something needs to change, and I need to decide what that something is. I can reposition my human synergy to do better against the 6 Hunter, so that is in my mind. So what I end up doing is I actually end up re-rolling because, so I could scout the enemy or I can re-roll. I don't have time for both. So what I decide to do is re-roll because I hit a Dark Spirit. So I'm like, okay, YOLO roll and get this Dark Spirit in because that's going to super help me against the 6 Warrior team because Dark Spirit is just great because that % health. So I do end up YOLO rolling. I had an egg already and I do hit a 2-star Dark Spirit, switch it out with my Venomancer just in time. So that is my upgrade for this round. And once again, when we're watching this, I do match up against this, the 6 Warrior. If you notice, again, am I getting my key ultimates off? My Dark Spirit does get silenced, unfortunately, but it does get its ultimate off. And if you look at the DPS meter, the Dark Spirit is doing so well. So super high damage. My Dwarf Sniper is doing good damage, but we still end up losing this round. And once again, pay attention, I also lost to Anti-God, who is the other player, by 6 heroes. Okay, now it's kind of panic mode setting in, right? I just lost to both players 2 rounds in a row, so that's really bad. I had a huge health lead, and now I'm losing it. I'm obviously messing up. My formation isn't working. I'm deciding what should I be doing. And I will tell you now, the major mistake I made in this game is I held on to Beast Synergy too much. I should have switched in my Marine Synergy sooner. If you notice, I have the Abyssal Guard sitting on the bench, and I just hesitated to do it because I wanted that Beast Synergy because I thought that 10% damage. But here's where, when I'm reviewing the game and I'm not in the emotion, I'm not like feeling that adrenaline rush, it's a lot easier for me to evaluate why I should have switched in the Marine Synergy. Anyways, I lose this round again crushingly, and now I'm in last place in health, and now we can discuss why I finally realized what I need to do to win this game. Okay, so here's another component of scouting, and that is the enemy's DPS meter. This is how you know where their main sources of damage are coming from, and this is how you know to counter the enemy, okay? So a lot of people ask about counters, like warriors, counter assassins, that type of stuff, but honestly, what you really want to be looking for and thinking about is how do I counter the enemy's main damage sources, right? So in this case, Lone Druid, Death Prophet, Berserker, and Soul Reaper, those are all the main damage sources, and you can see that 2 of those are magic damage. So if I would switch in that Marine Synergy and just lose that Beast Synergy, it would actually help me a lot against this team. And Anti-God is even more extreme because he has even more magic damage than this player does. So that's how I start thinking that I should switch in Marine. And notice this is from 2 rounds prior. So that was round 38, here's round 36. If I would have scouted and I would have paid attention to it, and I even had the chance to look at it, because look at this DPS meter, round 36, the 6 warrior team, if you notice, his Death Prophet has insane damage, right? So if I would have looked at this earlier, and I would have had that time to think about it, I could have put in that Marine Synergy 2 rounds ago when I still had the highest health in the game, and I probably would have performed much better. Anyways, I realized it too late. And we do switch it in, and let's see how that plays out. Okay, so here's the next round. You'll notice I'm switching out my Werewolf, putting in my Abyssal Guard, so I'm going to lose my Beast and my Human Synergy, which kind of sucks, but same thing, the Human Synergy, I wasn't getting a lot of benefit out of it because I wasn't having that time to reposition for both enemies, and they were positioned differently. So anyways, I end up switching that out, and then let's see how that goes. And you will see it plays out much better for me. So I've been getting, at this point, I had lost 3 rounds in a row to both enemies. I went from top health with a big lead to almost out of the game, and now I crush through the warrior player, and I also crush the other player, okay? So now just by switching in that synergy, that does help out so much. And to illustrate that point even more, here is the DPS meter for the 6 warrior team. And remember, before that meter was absolutely the Death Prophet and the Soul Reaper were very high on it, and now if you look at this DPS meter, it looks way different. The top 4 places are all held by physical damage dealers and not magic damage dealers. So that is the impact that the Marine Synergy had on this game. So the next round was a Glacier Clan. I'm going to skip over that and just show you all the final round of the game. Okay, so the final round, we start by scouting. I notice where the enemy's human synergies are, and I place my Dark Spirit away from them so that I dodge that. And that's basically was my concern. And then we end up matching against the 6 Hunter. We end up doing great because, once again, the synergies just help me live through their burst, basically. If you notice, my tanks actually stay alive during these fights, where before they were getting crushed in those first round of ultimates. And then we also crush the warrior from their point of view. The warrior crushes the hunter, and GG, we take first place. I will say this game was very sloppy. I should have won this game a lot sooner. Like, honestly, if I would have been scouting better, if I would have been making better choices, I probably should have won this game about 5 rounds earlier. And you can see that in the economy. I have a huge economy lead, which is what helps me really drive this game home. But I hope what you all get out of this is, 1, the value of reviewing your own gameplay to look for things that you can do better. Even in wins, there's always an opportunity to improve. And 2, I hope you understand the importance of scouting and how to gain good information from scouting and then how to implement that to perform better. Anyways, with that said, take care, have a great day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.